We let algorithms decide who we marry, how we treat diseases, and where we deploy police. We've handed our most critical choices over to the invisible, unquestioned logic of mathematics. But these mathematical systems assume the data they feed on is perfect. When that data is flawed, or when a decision requires a basic sense of human ethics, the results can be devastating. Mathematician Hannah Fry has spent her career looking inside these black boxes. Her research focuses on mapping the chaos of human behavior. She serves as professor of the public understanding of mathematics at the University of Cambridge, translating dense academic research for public discourse. We are handing our autonomy over to equations we don't understand. We need people who can decipher the math and expose its blind spots before these systems encode irreversible damage into society. Fry actually began her academic career studying fluid dynamics, calculating how liquid droplets deform under airflow. She eventually took those techniques and applied them to something equally turbulent: the movements of human crowds in urban environments. She took geographic profiling, a mathematical tool originally designed to predict the locations of serial killers, and used it to analyze the spread of the 2011 London riots. This map visualization shows how she used differential equations to simulate the riots. The math treats the violence like an infectious disease, mapping how a localized disturbance propagates through a city block by block. By plotting these spreading clusters, the equations successfully calculated the exact thresholds required for police resource allocation to build barriers and contain the spread. Modeling riots proves the math works on a city scale. Fry also uses scenarios like interpersonal relationships to prove to the general public that these models apply to our private lives. This diagram illustrates her 37% rule for dating. It is based on the mathematical theory of optimal stopping. If you want the highest chance of finding the best partner, you reject the first 37% of people you date, then commit to the next person who is better than anyone you've seen before. That is where your statistical probability peaks. Whether moving in massive urban crowds or following biological imperatives like mating, our seemingly spontaneous choices can be accurately captured and mapped and predicted by rigid mathematics. Her focus on making these concepts accessible draws some skepticism from math purists, but she pushes forward because she wants to shift the public's mindset regarding their own mathematical capabilities. She argues that gender disparities in STEM fields aren't driven by biological aptitude. Instead, unequal representation comes from cultural messaging that diminishes the self-efficacy of young girls, creating an environment of accumulated sexism. In her book, Hello World, Fry lays out the hard limit of these mathematical models. Algorithms are exceptional at recognizing patterns in massive datasets, but they are entirely devoid of human context. We see this failure clearly in the deployment of predictive policing algorithms by modern law enforcement. This flowchart demonstrates the mechanical flaw. The algorithm relies on historical arrest data. If past data is skewed by over-policing in specific communities, the calculation creates a feedback loop, continually targeting those same neighborhoods and amplifying historical racial biases, rather than predicting actual future crime. The same blind spots appear when AI is used in healthcare. Automated medical diagnoses process statistics beautifully, but they frequently overlook the crucial patient-specific nuances required for accurate treatment. Fry experienced this disconnect firsthand during her own treatment for cancer. She noted the profound psychological dangers patients face when rigid probabilities and miscalibrated statistical uncertainty are delivered in a clinical setting without human empathy. Algorithms are unparalleled at harvesting historical patterns from massive spreadsheets, but they are entirely blind to the ethics, the nuance, and the basic human context required to make just decisions in a messy real world. Fry concludes that we have to stop treating artificial intelligence as an infallible oracle, or conversely as a dystopian threat. Instead, we must treat it as an imperfect collaborator. To do that, society must mandate total transparency in algorithmic design and maintain strict human oversight at every stage of their deployment. She has pushed this agenda across prestigious public platforms, delivering the Royal Institution Christmas lectures and earning the Zeeman Medal for her immense impact on public understanding. Her overarching mission is to arm the general public with the mathematical literacy and the confidence required to aggressively question the numbers that govern them. As our future is increasingly built upon complex algorithms, our most powerful and irreplaceable asset is not a more perfect equation. It is our distinctly human judgment.